Peace and blessings, everyone. How are you on today? I pray all is well as always. I wanted to come and share with you all about something that is going on um, right across the street from where I live at. And it's just something I wanted to share. I pray that it's a word of encouragement, a word to help somebody to move forward and transition, to move forward in the process of God just restoring, healing, and building up His people. And I just pray that this will help somebody out on today. So now I want to get right to it. There's a house across the street that's being worked on. Um, right now, the process of putting a roof on is what's going on now. But this house has been or is being restored. It's been about maybe a month and a half of restoring of whatever they're doing to the house. But on Friday they started this roof, right? So I'm at the window. They started 7 o'clock in the morning, I believe it was, and it was just very interesting. I was just standing looking in the window and just looking at them working and doing what they were doing. And I was looking at how the roofers, when they were on there, they were just, they were that, the shingles and all those things that was on there, they were just scraping and it was just coming off like like when you do your feet, like when you're scruffing or you're using a pumice stone and you're just scraping that dead skin off. They was just going to work on that roof. They were just taking their tools and they were just the stuff was just gliding off. Before I knew it, they were done probably within a hour, maybe a little over an hour, between an hour, hour and a half. And that's a big home. It's a big home. It has it's a single home and it's just a pretty big, it was a big roof. Okay. So I'm just looking and I'm saying, wow, look at them go over there. And so they were done about an hour and a half. But then they started putting the new roof on. And I tell you, they started about 9 o'clock on that roof, and 9 o'clock in the morning, and seven. I think they probably would have still been going if it had not gotten dark. It starts getting dark now at about 6:30 where I live at. So they were out there. They just shut everything down. They were still kind of working on the roof, but everybody down below was just shutting things down. They were picking up their tools, and they had not completely. It looked like it was almost done, but it took them just about all. It took them every bit of let's say about 9 to 10 hours to get that work done, and they still had a little bit more they had to complete. Somebody came over the next day and was just on top of their roof. Just I guess they were just um, doing what they need to do up there. But then they're going to be back to work, I'm sure, on Monday because they're still not finished. They still have to put more onto that roof, okay, to finish it up. So my thoughts about this whole thing, I put this, in the things to what God does in our life and how sometimes we can be resistive to the things that He is trying to place in us. See, it's a very easy job. It can be a very easy job with the Lord to remove those things out of our life, those things that we are struggling with, those things that we're having issues with, those problems, those sins. God, if we would just allow God to do the process of removing these things out of our life, and sometimes, again, it's a process. It's very easy for God to just move those things out of our life, and then um, if we allow Him to do that process, it's a very quick job when we surrender ourselves over to God, when we say, Lord, take this, let me, you said in your word, to give our burdens to you, to give us give you all of our concerns. You give us, rest, and you are a restorer, you are a healer. When we begin to release and let you do the things that you need to do in our life, that we may have changed, that we may have resolved and transition in our lives. So that part can be a very easy job when God is just, when we're surrendering, Lord, take it, my life belongs to you. When we get to the very bottom, to the very bottom of ourselves, and when we begin to let God do the things that needs to be done in our lives, to change us and rearrange us, it's a very simple process with God. But the hardest part, just like those roofers, when it took so long for them to finish that roof, is they still got to do more. It's just like that with us. When God is trying to put those things in our life, sometimes it's a very long process according to how we act. When God is trying to remove those things, and we're holding on to these things, that we don't want to let go, or we just don't know how to let go. And then once we let go, it's an easy process with God. But when he is trying to put those things in us, when he's trying to restore us, when he's trying to beautify us, when he's trying to do these things that to build us up and to get us into the right standing with him, sometimes that's a hard thing for God to do with us, because we have to play a part. We have to cooperate with God for him to do that work in us. And sometimes it takes a long time according to us. See, God can get it done in an instant if we allow him to do that work. But when God is doing, sometimes he got to prune some things away from us. Sometimes he has to, cut some things out of our lives. And when we don't want to let go, when we don't want to surrender. We say we want to surrender, but once it's time for us to surrender, it's the hardest thing we have to do, because a lot of times there are things that are holding us, because we are just so used to having him or her in our life. We're so used to making all the money, and we're working hours and hours and hours at work, but we got to be home with our family. We got to support, our spouses and our relationships. And there's nothing wrong with working overtime or over hours, but sometimes the job is our life. And sometimes we got to let these things go. Sometimes we got to let go, the addictions, the things that we are addicted to, that takes the place of God. We got to release these things. And when God is trying to do that, and we just continue to hold on, and we don't allow him to do that work in us, it's a long process. But I just want to encourage somebody on the day, when we begin to surrender and to release those things unto to the Lord, it can be a smooth transition. Sometimes it may take a while, but it's not going to take as long getting the things on as it was as easy as it was getting it off. We got to surrender ourselves to the Lord. We got to allow the Lord to do the work, the good work that he says in his word, the good work that he has performed in us, he shall perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. God will continue to work with us and work with us. And even though we become resistant sometimes, God will either take his hands off and just begin to, look, it's either going to be you or me who's trying to do this work. Sometimes we got to let go and let God do the process in our lives. Sometimes we're complaining about things going on. We just keep going around the mountain. We just keep going around the mulberry bush. We just keep going on, and then we're complaining about it. How do we complain about something that we keep doing ourselves? And He's been speaking to us, He's been showing us, He's been sending the answer, He's been sending us the people speaking to our lives. It's Him speaking. It's not like oh, this is a coincidence. No, the Lord is speaking. It's the Lord speak in many different ways, and sometimes, we just got to put the two and two together and say, you know what, this is speaking to my situation. Let me let go and let God, because he's trying to do something miraculous in my life. He's trying to do something in my life, and I just keep stopping the process because I just won't cooperate with him. So I just pray that somebody will cooperate with the Lord, even myself, when he's trying to do things in our lives, in my life, your life, that we will cooperate with him and allow him to do those things that are needful for us to grow in him and to do whatever he has called us to do in the earth, and to be a better person in general. So I just pray that this ministers to somebody's heart. It's just, again, that's something that I was just meditating on when I saw this process going on in my neighborhood. So God bless you. I pray all is well. Be blessed. And the key thing that I want you to get from out of this is cooperation. Cooperate with God and let Him do the job that He is trying to do in your life. Okay? God bless you. It'll all work out. God said He works all things out for the all He all things work together for the good to those who love him. If you love him, he is going to work that thing out for you in your life. Okay? So let him do the work. God bless you.